1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and what followed was a bloody, greed-fueled cataclysm of slavery, dismemberment, extortion, rape, child trafficking, biological warfare, feeding living people to dogs, and general mass murder. So then he got a federal holiday. Can we not? Los Angeles has just ruled to change Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day. Some people are pissed off about the move, but not only was LA totally right to make this decision, other cities, states, and the whole country would be wise to do the same. Questions over the validity of Columbus Day have been stewing for decades, and it's time to put an end to it for good. Columbus Day is not a great pillar holding up American history. It's the half-deflated bouncy castle of American history. Despite what you may think, this holiday is only 80 years old. William Shatner is older than Columbus Day. He's a much better example of a bold explorer, and he was just on a soundstage. Julie Andrews is older than Columbus Day. Mary Poppins, y'all! Both Sean Connery and Dame Judi Dench, stars of my James Bond time travel fanfic, are older than Columbus Day. It's so recent and such an oversight. The only reason the holiday was made official was because back in 1937, a group of Catholic men pressured FDR into declaring a holiday celebrating a Catholic male role model. It's also generally taken to celebrate Italian-American heritage. I have good news for you though. LA voted to name the day after Indigenous Peoples Day Italian Heritage Day, and the entire month of October is Italian Heritage Month. If you are Italian and proud of it, you can untie yourself from historical thieving murderer Christopher Columbus and instead celebrate the over 5.4 million Italians who immigrated to the United States since 1820, or Amerigo Vespucci, who this country is actually named after. You don't have to let one horrible person be the bannerman of your pride. Sad truth is, with the information age, we've become very aware of what Christopher Columbus was. If you don't count the native people, and I don't see why you wouldn't unless you don't like to count inconvenient non-white people and don't see the irony of shouting, "We will not be replaced," at the people who lived here first. Leif Erikson got to the New World centuries before Columbus, yet you don't see Americans celebrating him every year with jugs of mead. Columbus did not convince the world that the earth wasn't flat. This was commonly known since the time of the ancient Greeks. As early as 6th century BC, yes, Columbus mapped the coasts of Central America and South America, but he never even set foot on North America. He spent his life believing he discovered Asia. He should be remembered not for his incredible discovery, but for doing things like demanding food, gold, and sex with women of the Lucayan people of the Bahamas, then chopping off ears, noses, and hands, and again, feeding dismembered but living people to dogs until he got his way. He forced people into labor, he sold women into sex slavery, and noted young girls could fetch an even higher price. He chained people to his ships and let hundreds of them die. He's responsible for disease and starvation that claimed lives estimated in the millions. According to USHistory.com, even his most ardent admirers acknowledge that Columbus was self-centered, ruthless, avaricious, and a racist. This man does not deserve the same national significance as veterans Martin Luther King Jr., George Washington, or even Labor Day Joe, a Labor Day mascot I literally just invented. When we get new information, we should be able to make better informed decisions. A change of mind and culture should happen. To keep something just because, "Oh, that's the way I always thought it was," is a stupid rationale and shows your inability to adapt and apply critical thought. I'm not saying Italian Americans and Catholics shouldn't be celebrated, nor that any race of people are innately better than anyone else. I'm saying that while all groups of people divided by race or religion or gender or geography or whatever are imperfect, Christopher Columbus as an individual was a shitty person, unworthy of our national celebration. Perhaps a group of people who, I don't know, maybe lived on this land for thousands of years and have been historically displaced and disenfranchised by the rest of us deserve a little respect. They certainly deserve it more than that asshole Columbus. And while we're on the subject, how about replacing one of those Confederate generals with a statue of Captain Kirk? I'm Kim Horcher. I wrote this. You could follow me on Twitter at @KimScorcher, on Instagram @KimHorcher, and on Facebook @KimHorcherOfficial.